The time is 6 o'clock on Oluyole 98.5 FM, Ibadan.
The news.
Good evening. This is Tabitha Komolafe. Reading with me is
Boluwaji Ogumola.
Bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews and commentaries. First, the highlight. Federal government confirms plan to replace NYSC khaki uniform with a Adiwe fabric.
Our government charges schools to recover lost academic time after Oriri abductions.
Court affirms David Mark-led ADC leadership.
Bomb blast kills 5 in Damascus.
Now the details. The federal government has confirmed plans to replace the National Youth Service Corps traditional khaki uniform with locally produced Adiwe fabric as part of ongoing reforms aimed at repositioning the scheme. The Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, disclosed this during an interview in Lagos, saying the move was intended to promote local manufacturing and ensure government spending supports the Nigerian economy. Olawande also said corps members would increasingly be posted according to their fate of study under the new framework, explaining that graduates with educational qualifications, for instance, would be deployed to schools rather than being posted without consideration for their professional backgrounds. On security, the minister said the government was considering posting prospective corps members to regions where they studied and were already familiar with the environment, particularly in areas facing security challenges. The minister also dismissed reports suggesting the military would be removed from the NYSC, describing such claims as a misconception. The reforms followed the approval by the Federal Executive Council on Monday of a comprehensive overhaul of the NYSC, the first major reform of the scheme since its establishment in 1973.
The Oyo State government has charged teachers in public schools across the state to intensify efforts to recover academic time lost during the recent industrial action embarked upon to demand the safe release of the abducted teachers and students in Oriri local government area. The Oyo State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Shegun Oluyole, gave the directive during a stakeholders meeting held at the conference hall of the ministry today. Details are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent, Olalekan Sulaiman.
Key education stakeholders, including the Nigeria Union of Teachers (NUT), the All Nigeria Confederation of Principals of Secondary Schools (ANCOPS), the Association of Primary School Head Teachers of Nigeria (OPSIN), the Teaching Service Commission (TESCOM), and the Oyo State Universal Basic Education Board (SUBEB), among others, participated in the stakeholders meeting organized by the state government through the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. The meeting was convened to strengthen collaboration with the Oyo State government to recover academic time lost during the recent industrial action embarked upon to demand the release of the abducted teachers and students in Oriri local government area. In his address, the Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Shegun Oluyole, stressed the need for schools to prioritize effective teaching and learning to ensure that students in public schools are not academically disadvantaged by the recent disruption. He assured the public of Oyo State government's commitment to improving the quality of education, stating that the administration of Governor Seyi Makinde is working tirelessly to provide the best learning environment for students.
The governor and the government of Oyo State want us to appreciate you, at least for acceding to the yearnings of the people of Oyo State. We know that by now teachers are supposed to be in school. We know our students are supposed to be in school because the records that we have has it that some of these students have already gone to learn one addition or the other, but after resumption, I've directed the LIEs across the state that they should get me the list of those who did not return It is my prayer that they will all return to school.
Earlier in his remarks, the chairman of the Oluyole State Civil Service Commission, Baale Kamorudeen Aderibigbe, commended the leadership of the Teachers Union for suspending the industrial action in the interest of the students and urged continued collaboration between the state government and education stakeholders to advance the sector.
You can see that immediately the strike was called off yesterday, the state government applauded the action. Now that we have lost on grants, since we have been on strike for the past 1 month, how do we cover these grants? Because the syllabus for your state schools is not different from the syllabus for other state schools in Nigeria. It's not for the NUT, option, ANCOPS, and whoever is concerned to make sure that our children do not lag behind.
In their separate remarks, representatives of the Nigeria Union of Teachers NUT, the All Confederation of Principals of Secondary School ANCOPS, and the Association of Primary School Head Teachers of Nigeria APSIN, appealed to the Oluyole State government to intensify efforts towards securing the safe release of the abducted teachers and students in Oluyole local government area, while reaffirming their commitment to supporting quality education in the state.
Opening the school for continuation of our academic activities will further enhance the education of our state and thereby not losing to the terror over what they have decided to inflict on us. So the national body and the state united and came to a position that the action be suspended and allow room for government to put those measures in place.
The Special Advisor to Governor Seyi Makinde on Education Intervention, Suraju Tiamiyu, also expressed optimism that the abducted teachers and students will soon regain their freedom, assuring stakeholders that the state government is making sustained effort to secure their safe release. Oluyole Sulaiman, BCS News.
Meanwhile, in a bid to allow students of public primary and secondary schools in Oyo State to continue academic activities in 4 walls of classroom, the Nigerian Union of Teachers (NUT) Oyo State Wing suspended a 4-week strike. The strike, which commenced on 1st of June 2026, was attributed to May 15 attack on Oluyole local government area of the state, which resulted to killing and abduction of principal, teachers and students. BCOS correspondent in Ogbomoso, Aderemi Akomu, who monitored the situation in some public schools in the area, noted that attendance in public primary and secondary schools in the Ogbomoso zone was very low today. It was observed that the fear and panic generated by the attack continued to affect attendance of teachers and students in both public primary and secondary schools in the zone, as many students stay away from classes. Aside the students writing physics practical in the ongoing NECO, also that less than 10 students were present today at the Anglican High School Old Attender, while student attendance at Adeniran Memorial Grammar School, Anglican Grammar School 1 and 2 was between 20 and 30%. Reacting to the situation, the Permanent Secretary, Tutor General, TESCOM, Dr. Salimat Ayegboyin, said students' attendance will be improved by tomorrow or latest on Monday, reassuring the general public of the efforts of Governor Seyi Makinde to secure the release of the principal, teachers and the students abducted. Reports from Esiele and Yawota indicated that schools were deserted with neither teachers nor students sighted on the premises, but only teachers were present in schools at Ikoyi, Tewure, Okoile, among others.
In the meantime, the federal government today welcomed the suspension of the teacher strike in Oyo State, describing the decision as a victory for dialogue and a major step towards restoring uninterrupted learning in public schools. The government said the resolution followed the sustained engagement involving the Federal Ministry of Education, the Oyo State government, and leadership of the Nigerian Union of Teachers at the national, zonal, and state levels, leading to the return of teachers to classrooms across the state. This was contained in a statement issued by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, Oluyole Folashade. Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, said the outcome demonstrated the commitment of all parties to prioritizing the welfare and future of school children above every other consideration.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has given legislative concurrence to Governor Seyi Makinde's request for a 330 billion naira budget realignment and supplementary appropriation to pave way for accelerated execution of key infrastructure projects and other priority government programs across the state. The approval followed consideration of an executive communication transmitted by Governor Makinde to the House and read during plenary by the Speaker, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin. BCOS reporter Olamikpo Sishola brings the details.
Following the presentation of the executive communication to Oyo State Supplementary and Realignment Appropriation Bill 2026 and the Oyo State Supplementary Finance Bill 2026 scaled through first and second readings before being referred to the House Committee on Finance Appropriation and State Economic Planning for detailed legislative scrutiny. In the executive letter, Governor Makinde explained that the request became necessary following submissions by the several ministries, departments, and agencies seeking the additional budgetary allocations to facilitate the timely implementation and completion of the ongoing strategic projects across the state. According to the governor, the request was approved by the State Executive Council after considering recommendations of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, which reviewed the funding needs of the affected MDAs in line with the administration's roadmap for sustainable development 2023 to 2027. Governor Makinde stated that the additional expenditure will principally fund the completion of major infrastructure projects, including the Circular Road, Ido-Iruwa Road, Airport Ajah-New Ife Expressway, Shaki Igboho Road, and Akwete Awota Akufo Junction Road project, as well as ongoing remodeling and upgrade of the Ladoke Akintola International Airport. The proposal also provides funding for ongoing construction works at the Government House, Consolidated Revenue Fund charges, public debt servicing, loan repayment, gratuity payments, and preparations for the forthcoming local government elections expected to commence in the third quarter of the year. The governor further disclosed that the request for additional funding were received from the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, Oyo State Investment and Public-Private Partnership Agency, OISIPA, Ministry of Finance, Office of the Executive Governor, Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission, OSEC, Ministry of Establishments and Training, Oyo State Road Maintenance Management Agency, OSTROMA, and the Office of the Head of Service. A breakdown of the proposal showed that the total additional expenditure amounts to 330 billion naira, comprising 35.5 billion naira for recurrent expenditure representing 10.76% and 294.5 billion naira for capital expenditure representing 89.24% of the total proposal. The proposal further indicated that 120 billion will be sourced through the alignment of the existing capital allocation from MDAs with upspent budget provision, while the remaining 210 billion naira will constitute a supplementary budget to be added to the state's 2026 appropriation law. With the Assembly concurrence, the 2026 Oyo State budget has increased from 892.09 billion naira to 1.102 trillion, representing an addition of 210 billion to the state fiscal framework for the year. Olamikpo Ishola, BCS News.
Meanwhile, the Oyo State House of Assembly has confirmed the appointment of Dr. Ladipo Olabode Taiwo as Commissioner Designate following the approval of his nomination during Tuesday's plenary sitting presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin. The confirmation came after the presentation and consideration of the report of the House Committee on Special Duties, chaired by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Abiodun Fadeyi, who recommended the nominee for confirmation after the committee's screening exercise. The House subsequently adopted the committee's recommendations and unanimously approved the nomination of Dr. Ladipo Olabode Taiwo to serve as Commissioner in the State Executive Council. Governor Seyi Makinde, in a letter dated June 30, 2026, forwarded the name of Dr. Ladipo Olabode Taiwo to the House for screening and confirmation in accordance with Section 192 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The governor, in the correspondence addressed to the Speaker, requested the lawmakers to give the nomination the usual kind and expeditious consideration. Presenting the committee's report before the House, the chairman of the Committee on Special Duties and the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Abiodun Fadeyi, informed the members that the committee had screened the nominee and found him qualified, competent, and suitable for appointment as Commissioner.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oluyole State, Ibadan. The Oyo State Police Command has rescued 2 kidnapped victims and neutralized 1 suspected kidnapper during a joint security operation at Ga Alaji via Ikpakpo in Oluyole local government area of the state. The victims were abducted on Monday night when armed men invaded a settlement, fired gunshots to scare residents, and whisked away 3 men. Following a distress call, the Commissioner of Police, CP Abimbola Olugbenga, directed a joint rescue operation involving police officers, the Amotekun Corps, the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, and local hunters. Security operatives tracked the kidnappers to a forest hideout where a gun battle ensued and 1 suspected abductor was killed, while others escaped with suspected gunshot wounds. The operation led to the rescue of 2 victims who are receiving medical attention, while one member of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria was also injured during the operation and is responding to treatment. The police commissioner commended the courage and collaboration of all security personnel involved and assured residents that the operation would continue until the remaining victim is found and all suspects are arrested. The command has appealed to residents of Ikpakpo and neighboring communities to remain vigilant and report anyone with suspicious gunshot wounds or unusual injuries to the nearest police station or other security agencies.
Governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM in Oyo State, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, has continued his grassroots engagement with a familiarization and appreciation visit to party members in Ido and Oluyole local government areas. The meeting, held at the headquarters of the 2 local government areas, attracted party leaders, members, and political office holders who reaffirmed their commitment to the party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurrafiu has the details.
Party faithful of the Allied People's Movement APM turned out in large numbers to receive the party's governorship candidate, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, alongside candidates for other elective positions during the familiarization and appreciation visit to Ido and Oluyole local government areas. Addressing members at both venues, the APM state chairman Otumba Adegbenro Fagbemi said the party remains united and focused on securing victory in the 2027 general elections, stressing that no distraction will derail its resolve. Also speaking, the chairman of the APM-PDP Alliance, Honorable Dayo Ogunbenro, urged members to promote the alliance across the state without discrimination. He called on former aspirants to put aside their differences and work collectively for the success of the party. Similarly, party leaders including Alhaji Kamaru Aderibigbe, Dr. Bola Adetunji, and Honorable Depo Oyedokun stressed that unity and cooperation among members are essential to sustaining the achievements of Governor Seyi Makinde's administration. They urged all stakeholders to rally behind the party's consensus candidates, expressing confidence that ongoing mobilization efforts will translate into victory at the 2027 polls. Addressing party members, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi said the visit was aimed at appreciating the grassroots members whose support forms the foundation of the party. He assured members of inclusive leadership, promising fairness, equal opportunities, and unwavering commitments to the ideals of the party.
Thank you, Tom, to appreciate the people for their belief in the leadership of Engineer Oluyole for their belief in the party, for their steadfastness, staying with the party at all times, for allowing the candidates to emerge via consensus without rancor, and we came to charge them that yes, this is a party thing. We will work together without fear or favor and with equity and fairness to all party men.
The Oluyole meeting featured cultural performances by members of the Theatre Arts and Motion Pictures Practitioners Association of Nigeria, TAMPAN, in the local government. In Ido local government, Honorable Adekombi inaugurated a campaign vehicle donated by a party stalwart to support mobilization ahead of the electioneering campaign. Earlier, the governorship candidate met with traditional rulers in Ido local government as part of efforts to deepen community engagement and strengthen support for the party. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja today affirmed Senator David Mark-led leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Justice Musa Liman, in a judgment, also dismissed the suit filed by Representative Leke Abejide challenging Mark and Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola as national chairman and national secretary of the party for lacking in merit. Justice Liman upheld the preliminary objections filed by ADC Chief Ralph Mbosu, Mark and Aregbesola, which challenged Abejide's suit. The judge also held that Abejide lacked the legal right to have instituted the suit, having failed to show to the court that his rights had been violated in a new way as a result of the emergence of Mark-led leadership. Justice Liman therefore declared that the emergence of Mark and Aregbesola as leaders of the ADC was valid and in accordance with the Constitution, the Electoral Act 2026, and the party's law. The judge consequently awarded a fine of 2 million naira each in favor of all the defendants, which shall be paid by Abejide. He also awarded a 10 million naira fine against Abejide's lawyer in compliance with the Electoral Act 2026.
A bomb blast at a crowded cafe in central Damascus killed at least 5 people and wounded 16 others today, Syrian state media reported. Foreign News editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and orders as presented by Khadija Lawal.
Syrian State TV said the bomb had been planted at the cafe, which is near the Peace of Justice in the center of Syria's capital. There were no other immediate details on the apparent attack and no immediate claim of responsibility. State news agency, SANA, reported the death toll and wounded toll, citing the head of Syria's emergency health services. Damascus has been hit by a small number of attacks since the toppling of President Bashar al-Assad in late 2024. His oyster by Ahmed al-Shara, now Syria's president, and his rebel forces effectively ended 14 years of civil war. A car bomb killed 1 Syrian soldier and wounded at least 18 other people on May 19 outside a defense ministry building in Damascus. Meanwhile, 8 Thai monks have been killed and other people injured after a child drove his family's pickup truck into a bridge